Good day, here are the headlines from the Philippine News Agency. We begin this Monday's newscast at the nation's top office with the Philippines and Ukraine pledging to strengthen their 32-year diplomatic ties as Kyiv is set to open its embassy in Manila this year. Earlier today, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. welcomed Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who arrived in Manila Sunday evening following his participation at the 21st edition of the International Institute for Strategic Studies Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore. Zelensky thanked Marcos for the Philippines' unwavering support to Ukraine and for the president's stance on Ukraine territorial integrity and sovereignty. In response, Marcos welcomed Ukraine's plan to open an embassy in Manila and assures the Philippines' commitment through various international platforms, including the United Nations and the European Union. Marcos also highlighted the Philippines' ongoing efforts to uphold an international rules-based order and its advocacy for peace in the region. Ukraine ranked as the 90th trading partner of the Philippines in 2022 with a total trade volume $16.9 million. These includes $1.49 million in exports from the Philippines and $15.41 million in imports from Ukraine. There are currently 200 Filipinos residing in Ukraine, but the figure went down to 25 due to the ongoing Ukraine-Russia crisis. House Speaker Martin Romualdez is hopeful that many countries will support and take part in the Philippines' stance for a peaceful, stable, and prosperous Indo-Pacific. Following the historic speech of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. at the 21st International Institute for Strategic Studies Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore, Romualdez said the president clearly explained the Philippines' position on protecting and respecting our maritime boundaries and sovereignty, while also recognizing and adhering to the rule of law and diplomacy. Romualdez reiterated the House of Representatives' support for the president and the executive branch initiatives to promote national interests, recognize international law, and enhance regional peace and stability. These involves strengthening our military capabilities in light of increasing tensions in the West Philippine Sea. He also stressed the importance of continuously improving Philippine partnerships and cooperation with multiple countries. Romualdez was part of the official Philippine delegation at the prestigious Defense Forum. Meanwhile, the La Salle University Professor of International Studies, Renato de Castro, lauded Marcos for his clear presentation of the Philippine maritime challenges and developments in the Indo-Pacific region. In a forum in Quezon City on Saturday, de Castro said the president successfully raised awareness on the issues confronting the South China Sea through his presentation of the 7 realities faced by Indo-Pacific nations. He said Marcos accurately pointed out the impact of the U.S.-China rivalry and its effects on the region. Professor Don McLean Hill, also of the DLSU, supported de Castro in acknowledging the message of the president for the global defense community. He said Marcos also clarified the Philippines' vision on the region by mentioning the 3 constants that would influence its direction. In his speech, the president stated that the Indo-Pacific's abiding compass includes: first, the sovereign equality of states must remain sacrosanct. Second, ASEAN and ASEAN-led processes must remain central. And third, the rule of law and the integrity of multilateralism must prevail. Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. discussed regional issues and other mutual interests with his counterparts on the sidelines of the International Institute for Strategic Studies 21st Shangri-La Dialogue. In his meeting on Saturday with South Korean Defense Minister Shin Wok-sik, Teodoro thanked Seoul for its support to the Philippines on the West Philippine Sea issue. For his part, Shin said South Korea wants to strengthen and advance its defense and security relations with the Philippines. Likewise, Teodoro and Singapore Defense Minister Dr. Nang Eng-hen vowed to further strengthen regional security and other cooperation in mutual interests. Meanwhile, Teodoro secured the support of Joseph Borrell Fonteles, High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs in areas such as maritime security and cyber security. Teodoro and U.S. Department of Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin III also updated each other on defense matters, adding that they look forward to the ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting and ADMM Plus in Prabang, Laos in November. Earlier, Teodoro met with Lithuanian Minister of National Defense Laurinas Kasčiūnas, New Zealand Minister of Defense Judith Ann Collins, and Canada Minister of National Defense Bill Blair to deepen and broaden defense and security cooperation. United States Department of Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin III hailed the Philippines' efforts to protect and defend its territorial integrity and sovereignty and uphold international law in the Indo-Pacific region. Austin commented on the Philippines during the first plenary session of the 21st Shangri-La Dialogue at the International Institute for Strategic Studies in Singapore on Saturday. In his remarks, Austin echoed President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s speech, stating that every country has the right to enjoy its own maritime resources and to freely sail and operate wherever international law allows. He also commended Marcos' leadership for standing up for the Philippines' sovereign rights. He noted the need for countries to ensure regional stability and uphold the rule of law in the South China Sea and beyond. Austin also expressed optimism on the power of partnerships such as the alliance between the U.S. and the Philippines in achieving a free and open Indo-Pacific. In his keynote address at the Shangri-La Dialogue, President Marcos emphasized the Philippines' resolve in building up its own defenses, harnessing partnerships, and standing up against attempts to undermine regional peace and stability. Despite continued violation of the Philippine sovereignty, the chief executive says Manila remains committed to the cause of peace through dialogue and diplomacy. No Filipinos were reported hurt as a magnitude 5.9 earthquake jolted Japan's Noto Peninsula in Japan early this morning. The quake struck at the northern part of Ishikawa Prefecture in Japan's main island of Honshu. No tsunami warning have been raised for now. The Department of Migrant Workers says it is coordinating with Filipino communities and Japanese authorities as they check on the status of Filipinos in the region. Filipinos in Taiwan were also reported safe so far after twin earthquakes shook the island on Sunday morning. Taiwan's Central Weather Administration reported that a 4.8 magnitude earthquake struck Taiwan at 9:27 a.m., followed by a second earthquake with a magnitude 4.41 minute later. The epicenter of the earthquake was spotted at sea 21.2 kilometers south of Hualien County. The DMW said a migrant workers office in Taipei is working with the Taiwan government and Manila Economic and Cultural Office to ensure the safety of Filipinos there. An estimated 160,000 Filipinos currently live on the island. Meanwhile, no Filipinos were also injured after a building collapse in central Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on May 31. At least 13 apartments were damaged in the populated Al Faisaliya district as the basement collapsed during ongoing maintenance work. The Saudi Gazette said 8 have been rescued from the structure. The DMW said officials of the MWO in Jeddah visited the incident site and several nearby hospitals to check for any Filipinos admitted for treatment. It said MWO Jeddah will continue monitoring the situation and stay in touch with authorities. And that's the latest and the biggest stories on the Pna Headlines. For more news updates, please visit our website, pna.gov.ph, or our Facebook and X account, Filipinos Agency. The Pna Headlines is also streamed via the Servicio Facebook page. You may also watch the Pna Headlines through the Filipinos Agency's YouTube account, via the News and Information Bureau website, nib.gov.ph, under Pna News, or on the Facebook page of the Presidential Communications Office, or PCO. I am Stephanie Civiliano, and this is the Pna Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.